They say everything is bigger in Texas, from state pride to pickup trucks to sports rivalries. Those rivalries get a little bigger when there's unfinished business. When Locomotive FC last saw San Antonio, the Locusts felt stuck in the sand, and with a man down, San Antonio held down the fort. Both teams played with heart.
RB and saved by Ketterer.
Sheridan missed opportunities,
Better is there, off the base of the post.
and each ended up with a point on the table. Yet in Texas, that's not good enough. So tonight, we look to settle the score in another Copa Tejas matchup between El Paso and San Antonio. Will the battle cry be Remember the Alamo or Viva Los Locos?
Welcome into El Paso, Texas. Duke Keith along with Michael Ballaghan with you. It is a steamy evening in El Paso, Texas, the dog days of summer. Well, the El Paso Locomotive certainly hoping, Michael, that those are coming to an end after a very interesting road trip.
Yeah, they've been gone for about 3.5 weeks. I'm sure they're excited to be back home in front of the fans. The fans have missed them, and it's going to be a great night against a really good team in San Antonio.
As for their trip to San Antonio, that was that wasn't that long ago. It was in kind of a sandbox condition there in the Scorpions or San Antonio FC Stadium. But Logan Ketterer probably was the man of the match for Locomotive FC. It was a 0-0 draw and an absolutely huge penalty save in that match as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen Logan Ketterer step up in big moments over the course of the season, and he did that in that game against San Antonio. He was also really big in the game against Fresno, coming up with another penalty save. So he's been absolutely terrific in this 3-game away run, and it's great to see them have him in the starting lineup coming back tonight.
As we take a look at some of the results, of course, the Fresno game, that was at the end of the road trip. Just before Locomotive FC was able to take a week and a half off, much needed rest. They're still not healthy coming back into this match, though, Mike.
Yeah, and we've seen that over the course of the season. They've weathered those storms. However, this last storm seems to have hit the team a little harder with key injuries to the likes of Mishak Jerome, who we're hearing is out for the rest of the season after picking up an injury in the Gold Cup with Haiti. With injuries to Drew Becky, who was brought in as his replacement, and Chiro and Toko. So it's been a really rough patch for the team. But again, Coach Mark Lowry has done a terrific job of preparing the reserves and also bringing in guys that he thinks can fit right in and help them continue building the season.
Those aren't the only ones. We'll do starting lineups as we come back. You are watching El Paso Locomotive Soccer. It is San Antonio FC, El Paso Locomotive FC, Copa Tejas action from El Paso, Texas. Starting lineups next.
Check. Mic check, check.
I hear you. You hear me?
I can hear you.
Good.
Check.
Smells like rain. Welcome, everybody, back to Southwest University Park. Duke, Keith, Michael Balogun, as we check the starting lineups as promised. San Antonio FC first up. They are rested and ready, Michael.
Absolutely. They haven't played in about 3.5 weeks, so they're coming to this game fresh and they're ready to go.
3-0 win against Austin Bold their last time out. A big Copa Tejas point getter. They had been pointless to this point. Now they've leapt ahead of El Paso Locomotive by virtue of that victory. Locomotive FC with 3 ties in the Copa Tejas matches they have played thus far. On, though, for the San Antonio FC team, Lopez up top. You see number 9, Frank Lopez, on loan from LA Galaxy 2. He was their leading scorer. That's an absolutely huge pickup on loan. As we check El Paso Locomotive FC's lineup, and you will see no Jerome Kiesewetter. That's a big one.
Yeah, there's 2 changes from this lineup in comparison to when the Locomotive faced San Antonio 3.5 weeks ago. Jerome Kiesewetter is out, as you mentioned, and also Calvin Rezen, who has been traded to Tulsa Roughneck, is not in the lineup. However, you've got Derek Gebhardt coming in, and also Sebastian Contreras starting this game. So they're definitely ready to go, and it should be a fun, exciting match tonight.
At the helm for El Paso Locomotive FC, head coach Mark Lowry. There you see no sweater today from Mark. He's had to deal with a whole lot of injuries on the defensive side, adding new pieces mid-season. Of course, Locomotive FC with a couple of big pickups, but San Antonio FC, Darren Powell, director in Pro Academy for Orlando City FC, named the first head coach of San Antonio FC a few seasons ago. While he was the director at Orlando City Pro Academy, 12 players in different age ranges received national team call-ups. The Nottingham, England native, leading San Antonio, which is out of the playoff picture, though, trying to get back in.
Yeah, both Darren Powell and Coach Mark Lowry are very familiar with each other, having worked together in Orlando City. So this should be a fun reunion. However, both coaches are going to be looking to get a win in the first time against each other this year.
That's right. As we mentioned, Copa Tejas led by Austin Bold right now with 7 points. RGV Toros RGV FC with 4 points, followed by San Antonio with 3 and El Paso with 3. Our referee tonight, Mark Allerton. The assistant referees, Manuel Vargas and Chris Canales. Segundino Nájera, our 4th official, as we are ready to get things going. A big midweek matchup between these 2 Texas teams. That 0-0 draw the last time Locomotive FC and San Antonio FC met just a few weeks ago. Logan Ketterer with an absolutely critical penalty kick save. That was either in the middle or the beginning of the 3 consecutive matches where he has saved a penalty kick.
Yeah, he's been absolutely terrific all year, and to see him come up big, especially when the team was having so many injury problems in the back line. So to see him be a regular and to come up big has been absolutely terrific for the group.
Locomotive FC will start things off. Seba Contreras back to Richie Ryan. We are underway from a steamy El Paso, Texas. The clouds trying to break that heat wave, which has been baking the Sun City over the last few days. Welcome relief tonight as Drew Becky tries the long ball out of the back. Straight up for Salgado. He's going to get a hold of it. Has to go backward, but that's a decent start. It'll come back to Ryan. From Luis Chapa Herrera. Nice run. The cross, and running under that as it's deflected, Matt Cardone.
It's a great start for the Locomotive, looking to stretch the San Antonio backline with the ball over the top for Omar Salgado. We see Omar Salgado playing a little more centrally in this game than he's played in the majority of the year. We've normally seen him play on the right side of their midfield or the right side of their top 3. However, in this game, he's playing more centrally as a number 9. So we'll have to keep an eye on and see how San Antonio deals with his presence, his pace up there.
Joshua Yarrow making sure Nick Ross had nowhere else to go on that last foray for El Paso. Deflection by Billy Forbes puts the ball in touch for Locomotive FC. And into the middle. Brian Rebellon. Great to have him relatively healthy, and another great lead ball for Derek Gebhardt. Good knock. Seba Contreras. Cardone deals with it easily. because it's a little bit overcooked, but you can tell Locomotive trying to slash in behind. Kiesewetter no, they've been opportunistic in the opening couple of minutes. Stop by Kiffy.
The movement of the Locomotive, the front three or the guys up front has been really, really good to start this game. They're looking to get in behind and find those balls being played through. Midfielders Richie Ryan, Sebastian Contreras have done a great job of finding those little gaps and slipping them in.
Good work by Drew Becky to get his way out of trouble. Locomotive FC knows how to pass the ball. And Becky under pressure from Frank Lopez, signed just a couple of days ago, and up the right wing again. Locomotive FC, Brian Rebellon doesn't agree with the call. But the call is made by Manuel Vargas. Throw in for San Antonio FC. First of two matches here at Southwest University Park that we have this week. I don't know what that was. Pascal Abusi. Take a look at the replay. It's like he lost it. Never went in, so it's not a throw-in.
Must have had some garlic bread in the dressing room before he came out.
It hit off the top of his head and went back out. But again, if it doesn't cross in, it's not a throw. Got to get into the field of play before they give it back to El Paso, which did earn a throw-in right after.
This is a much better start for the Locomotive in comparison to the game in San Antonio 3 weeks ago. In that game, we saw San Antonio really dictate and start the game well with possession and really look to establish their style of play. Here we see the complete opposite, and the Locomotive being the team to get on the ball and look to connect passes.
Up to Salgado along the left. Salgado the cross handled easily and put out for a throw. Ross will do the honors with those highlighter green boots of his. Now he'll leave off for James Kiffy. Locomotive looking for their first win in about a month. Long cross, and it goes to the far post right there for Salgado. Cleared right into the middle by Abusi, who's having some issues in the early going. Almost served up that pizza. Here's Kiffy, has his pocket picked. And Lopez. Locomotive FC will send it back. Ketterer. That's dangerous. Lopez providing that pressure up top, though. 6 goals for LA Galaxy, 2 for Los Dos, their leading scorer. One on loan to San Antonio FC. You'll pardon me for saying so, but that's a bit of a head scratcher, Michael.
It absolutely is. With the Galaxy loaning their top goal scorer to a Western Conference rival, to a team in the same conference as them. It's something that I have yet to see. I've never seen before, and I'm really surprised that the Galaxy went ahead with that move.
Well, you know, if you're Darren Powell, you're saying thank you very much. Locomotive FC will spread it wide, and here's Gebhardt. Slashing in, coming to the top of the box. He tries to send one. It's deflected back out. Good position by Yarrow again. El Paso Locomotive will earn the kick. Luis Chapa Herrera. El Paso dealing with all sorts of injuries. Josh Castellanos is out. Mishak Jerome, as we know, the Achilles injury is going to keep him out pretty much for the year. Yuma, lower leg injury as well. And you saw Josue Aron Gomez on loan from FC Juarez, lower leg injury. Jiro Ntoko is on the bench, but still dealing with some of his issues. And is not starting tonight. Jerome Kiesewetter also gone from the lineup at Locomotive bench. Outside of goalkeeper Jermaine Forda is only 4 players deep.
Yeah, it's been a really rough patch for the team. They've dealt with a lot of injuries. However, Coach Mark Lowry's done a terrific job keeping the team positive, bringing in new pieces to bolster the bench and the players in the team. So it's been we see a bad restart there from Sebastian Contreras.
Heard the whistle, turned around trying to send it to Salgado, but was turning his head from the bench. Just rolled it into touch. Entering the 8th minute. Bright start for El Paso Locomotive FC on an overcast day. Action mainly in San Antonio's half of the field. Trying to get something working. Walter Restrepo. Pascal Abusi. Knock it around the back a bit. Getting out of some trouble, ready to pressure up the right wing side. Good run, San Antonio making a move to the left boot. Ketterer stops it. The rebound scored by Lopez. Into the 8th minute, Ketterer could not handle the shot from Christian Parano. And San Antonio FC, a dream starts here in El Paso, Texas.
That's the threat of the wide players for San Antonio FC. On one side you have Billy Forbes. On the other side you have Christian Parano. They absolutely love running at the back line, and they are a terror when they get going and run at the back line. In that moment, Christian Parano doesn't get a quality shot. However, it's good enough to force Logan Carter to fumble the ball, and Frank Lopez walks in and gets an easy tap in for the first goal of the game.
Lopez opportunistic through the early going, and against the run of play, San Antonio FC with a 1-0 lead in the 8th minute. Frank Lopez providing immediate dividends in the first 8 minutes of his San Antonio FC career. Here's a lead ball. Up to Gebhardt. Contreras will try his luck. Knocked in, and oh, that is a dangerous clearance. It'll be a corner kick on the spot. Abusi.
That's a great cross from Sebastian Contreras. Abusi does a good job to clear this. With the pace of that cross, if Abusi hits it the wrong way, it's going in the back of the net. Those are the kind of crosses the Locomotive need to serve into the box.
Like a scratch shot in pool. You touch it at all, you better get it exactly right, and he did. Here's Kiffey. On the corner, the high, far post shot or cross. Nodded out immediately. Bradford Jamison puts it out. 4 goals this season for San Antonio FC. They'll loft into the long one. Seba Contreras trying to get a little position. And it's over the end line for a goal kick. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world since 1947. Select, the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. San Antonio FC up 1-0. Frank Lopez, 10 caps with the Cuban national team. And again, the leading scorer for Galaxy 2, loaned out to San Antonio FC. Which means Galaxy 2 is still paying a salary, correct?
Yeah, they have to. I'm not sure the terms of their agreement, but I'd imagine that's part of it. However, it's a head scratcher, but it's something that Darren Powell at San Antonio is really excited about. He already had enough power, firepower in his starting lineup with Jack Barnby and Eva Guzman. However, bringing in the likes of Frank Lopez is only going to make the team stronger.
That is knotted out needlessly for a corner by Michael Lahoud. And James Kiffey will come over to take this one, second corner of the day. I think Lahoud may have thought somebody in the sky blue, dark blue jersey was a little closer than they were. Hart getting a word. Along with Bradford Jamieson. To the far post, headed in, and that is knotted up and over back into play. Andrew Fox was there. Fox, and well done by Billy Forbes. Knocked over the end line, and a goal kick for San Antonio FC. Throw in for El Paso. Locomotive FC trying to keep the pressure on, but now it's just to equalize. That is over the back line. It'll be a goal kick. Chapa flashes forward to challenge Ebusi. More pressure. Seba Contreras. Chapa Herrera up there, and here's Andrew Fox. Has it taken away, and he fouls Parano. And that is going to be a caution for Andrew Fox in the early going. But a professional foul, a necessary foul, and in the 14th minute, you're in that yellow card.
Yeah, just not getting the ball out of his feet to connect the pass quick enough, and getting picked off by Christian Parano, and he had to commit that foul, or else Christian Parano was off on the races towards goal.
And it is Frank Lopez who is the injured player. Down for San Antonio.
Looks like him and Drew Becky collided, not too after the big ball of the top.
So Lopez being tended to by Adam Quickly, the trainer. Fans follow El Paso Locomotive FC and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who've already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. But speaking of the walking wounded, Moses McKinney, part of those brought in to try and deal with the situation. He did get into the game in Oklahoma City, but there you see Castellanos, Jerome, Yuma, Gomez, and of course Jerome Kiesewetter notably missing today for El Paso Locomotive FC. A bench of just 4 players for Mark Lowry to deal with. So that's everybody but Jermaine Forda. You've got your 3 field substitutions, and then there's going to be 1 guy left on the bench.
Yeah, most championship teams are not known for carrying large rosters, so when you have 5 guys out injured, 3, 4 of those, if you include Jerome, Chiro and Toko being regular starters, it hurts your group a little bit. It hurts the continuity. It hurts the chemistry. However, this team has done a really good job of not allowing their form to dip too much, and put himself in a good position to pick up the pieces with the addition of Moses McKinney and Sebastian Velasquez.
And it will be the Argentinian Parano ready to restart. A little bit of a run up just to shake things up. Lofts one in. And a foul committed as Ryan takes a hard seat, getting tangled. Looks like with Joshua Yarrow. Locomotive FC will start back up the way. Former Canadian international Drew Becky, good to see him in the lineup. He's dealt with his own injury situations, but passed the concussion protocol and was in the lineup the very next week in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a big part of this team going forward, especially with Mishak Jerome being out. He's gonna be called upon to play huge minutes, and he has been called upon since his addition to this group. So it's good to see him back in the lineup and not too shaken up by that collision in Tulsa.
We'll pass it back to Matt Cardone. 5 clean sheets in the season. It'll be wonderful to see the documentary on Drew Becky, who has dealt with a heart condition. Don't ask me to pronounce it, because that's not going to happen, but still defending documentary.
And here's the possession we saw early on in that game in San Antonio. San Antonio, they played an unusual 3-4-3, and they're doing a great job of constantly moving and finding the open guy in the run of play right now.
Here's Lopez again. Forces defense from Kiffy, but back up top to Parano. Send it out wide. Restrepo. Richie Ryan heads it down for Kiffy to blast out of trouble, and it bounces nicely for Salgado. Locomotive trying to wind their way out of trouble. Cross by Fox, or rather Ross, out to Drew Becky. His documentary coming out very soon, from what I'm to understand. Here is Becky, former Canadian international. Out wide to Brian Rebellon. You want to talk about integral defenders, he and James Kiffy on the right and left, respectively, are that. Nice lead ball to Gebhardt. Gebhardt making a move. Gebhardt to the back line, lifts one across, and it is up and over. An easy touch for Cardone. Marcel Salgado on the doorstep, but Cardone keeps it out of reach.
That's better by the Locomotive. A bit of possession, looking for the right moments to get forward. In that sequence, they only had Omar Salgado darting into the box, looking to get on the end of the cross from Derek Gebhardt. They've got to get more numbers inside the box. Sebastian Contreras has got to get into the box. Chapa Herrera has to get in the box in those moments so they have numbers and a better opportunity of scoring.
Locomotive FC trying to deal with the absence of some of the offense, and obviously not having Kiesewetter in the lineup is not going to help that. But Sebastian Velasquez, former Real Monarchs stalwart, is back in the United States after a stint in Korea and trying to get into match shape after being off for a bit. So he is not a part of the lineup tonight. Well done on the left wing, trying to give a little get and go. Barano there with Billy Forbes. Locomotive FC blows that up. Richie Ryan.
And that's the name we haven't called much this evening, is Billy Forbes. I think that was his first touch of the game. But you saw the movement between him and Parano. If they get a partnership going on, both players running at the back line of the Locomotive, could be dangerous. They have to do a good job of making sure they're communicating and tracking the movement of Billy Forbes and Christian Parano.
Becky and Andrew Fox. Becky will send a long one up the right. Rebellon. Nifty cross. A little heavily off Contreras. Ross tries to keep it moving forward, but dealt with well by Yarrow. Here is Yarrow. Putting it up. Coming in hard for the tackle. All ball, says the referee. Richie Ryan does his job. And it comes, the goal score! In it goes from the left wing side. Seba Contreras found an opening and evens the score of the 21st. Didn't look like anything, but it went all the way through.
That's well done by Sebastian Contreras, cutting in onto the weaker right foot, but just sliding the ball. Not really needing a lot of pace with the amount of bodies in front of the goalkeeper. All he needed to do was getting on frame.
Goes to the far post, and a discussion now for the assistant referee Manuel Vargas, and a card.
It looks like the referee's calling it offside on Omar Salgado.
Offside.
He reached out for the ball. He didn't make contact with it. However, the attempt to touch the ball is infringing on the goalkeeper, so that's why they're calling it an offside on Omar Salgado.
So in an offside position, Salgado not touching it. But let's take a look at the replay. It is no goal. Seba Contreras snuck one through, but maybe one of the reasons he did was because Salgado was interfering with Matt Cardone.
I'm not sure about that. I think he's onside. It looks like Ibusi keeps him onside. He's raising his hand. However, it looks like Omar Salgado is level with Ibusi. This is a situation where the championship does not have VAR, and the referee can't do anything about it.
I did not see the flag raised by Manuel Vargas, the assistant referee, but in a discussion with Mark Allerton, they have ruled it offside. And so, no goal. So take it off the board. Seba Contreras has what would have been his third goal of the season taken off, and it remains 1-0. Well played by Locomotive FC to work it up. Salgado looked like he was trying to get a touch to deflect it, which didn't happen. And that is what got the officials to whistle that one offside.
I'm sure the Locomotive players and the staff will be a bit upset about that call. It looks very much like Ibusi kept Omar Salgado onside, and that call should have never been made. It should have never been called an offside call because Ibusi was leveled with Omar Salgado.
Well, here is Fox. Locomotive FC still trying to get that offense working. Let's take a look at the replay one more time when we get a shot. Locomotive FC put it into touch. I agree with you. I think that Ibusi, who immediately raised his hand, obviously got the officials to think, but the call is the call, and it remains 1-0. They were in the 25th minute. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy, allowing clubs at all levels across the United Soccer League to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Locomotive FC trying to get a youth culture started. Bob Bigney. That's going to be a free kick as Ryan's taken down. Isn't the first time, won't be the last time that he and Christian Parano have tangled.
No, earlier it was Richie Ryan with the firm tackle on Christian Parano, the one the San Antonio players felt should have been called an offside right before that goal. And in this case, you see Parano taking down Richie Ryan and Richie Ryan getting up, recognizing, okay, maybe I fouled you earlier. All right, we'll call it a truce now.
Rebellon. Gebhardt trying to send one through. Blasted into touch by San Antonio. In touch now for San Antonio. Mark Lowry. Positionally so sound. Listening to him on his coach's show last night at Brass Monkey, just talking about why he favors that European technical system. They move as a team, and you watch Locomotive FC, they don't just go running up the field to try and make something happen individually. As Ryan fouls Billy Forbes, San Antonio will have a free kick coming. But positionally, Locomotive FC usually very sound. I think that kind of broke down a little bit on San Antonio FC's goal. But you see why he has Locomotive currently in 6th place in the Western Conference. This is a team that moves as a unit. They know what the other side's going to do.
Absolutely. If you can control the game, that's both on the offensive and the defensive side. And when you say control the game defensively, that just means you're forcing teams to do things that they don't want to, whether that's the way you defend or how you shape them, which way you force them.
There's Gebhardt, run to the end line, slid across, and it blasted out front of the corner. They're finding Salgado, but solid defense applied. That one was Yarrow. Derek Gebhardt's pace.
That's well done by Derek Gebhardt, getting to the end line and looking to serve that ball back in the box. Again, it's only Omar Salgado in the box, and there's not enough bodies in there. If you get a player running to the near post, that player can get a touch on it or leave it for somebody coming on.
Here's a cross. That's a nice low drive. Contreras loses one, and in it goes. There's your equalizer. Andrew Fox. Johnny on the spot.
There's no taking that one back. There's no taking that one back. It's a well-delivered cross from James Kiffey. It's a good header back inside into the frame, and well done by Andrew Fox, staying with the ball and staying focused and making good contact on the ball and getting into the back of the net.
Solid corner by Kiffey. Nice low drive. Gebhardt kind of off his back. He had no clue what was happening to the ball, but it bounced exactly where it needed to for Andrew Fox. Gebhardt raises his hands in triumph. Will that count as an apple? We'll see. Long and out of the backs on even terms in the 29th minute. My understanding is we will have a hydration break, to which I say, duh. Temperatures around 95 degrees at kickoff. That's a foul from the back, and Nick Ross is going to need to be careful.
You see the Locomotive player starting to pay close attention to Christian Perano. He picked up the ball in that first goal, and he drove 45 yards towards goal and created that opportunity for the first goal. You see them starting to pay attention to him and play a bit more physical and making him recognize, hey, you're going to have to beat us in this game.
Stuart Wright having to come out to tend to Ross, who didn't come out the better after that collision with Barano. And we are officially in our hydration break. We're in the 30th minute. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of stoppage time at the end of this first half. Taking a look at some of the new additions for El Paso Locomotive FC. Moses Makinde, who did get on the field in Oklahoma City, and Sebastian Velasquez. He will wear the number 7, signed on July 9th. Lots and lots of experience in the USL Championship. 16 goals, an outstanding creator. He, along with Seba Contreras, should be really something. Double pivot further up the field if both of those guys are on the field at the same time. And Moses Makinde, a little bit of depth at left back as well, sending Calvin Resend to Tulsa. 9 starts with Tulsa Roughnecks FC. Good and, I think, as Mark Lowry would say, necessary additions to this Locomotive FC roster.
Yeah, absolutely. Makine gives them some balance, some extra bodies, some extra quality in the back line. He can either play as a left back or center back. So to have a defender in this crucial moment is really important for the group.
It is, especially with the back line kind of in tatters, really. And Seba Velasquez, talking about what he's bringing to the field. Calvin Resend, 9 appearances and 2 goals, with 1 assist. Outstanding passer of the ball, and had worked his way into the starting lineup quite a bit. But when you can trade, he gets a little more opportunity. He's starting in Tulsa. You get a defender, and then you sign Seba Velasquez. That is some outstanding roster work by Mark Lowry, who's also the technical director for Locomotive FC.
Yeah, absolutely. Every player on this roster is crucial to their success, and they know that he's ingrained that in them. He's let them know whether you're playing every single game or you're starting every single game or you're getting minutes sparingly, you're going to be crucial and important to the success of this group.
And Nick Ross limping off the field, and it will be Edson Partida into the game in the 32nd minute. We talked about that very light roster, and Nick Ross is going to have to be. Will have to go into the locker room for further attention. That is not good.
Yeah, not sure what happened on the tackle there. It looks like he already has ice and already has that right knee bandaged up. That's not a good look when you have ice and you have your knee bandaged up before you even leave the field.
Well, Stuart Wright has been earning his keep here in El Paso over these, well, really this last month to month and a half. Here's a long cross into the box looking for Lopez. Well done. Andrew Fox, the goal scorer, puts it in touch. I imagine Lopez is going to have a double escort pretty much everywhere he goes. Well, what will Edson Partida, young man on loan from Toluca, have in store for us? Good cross, well dealt with. Partida's first touch of the match. After the header by Ryan clears it out. But here is San Antonio FC. Try to get the switch. Rebellon, good touch. Chapa draws the foul, and Pascal Abusi is going to draw yellow. Had a little extra something in that for young Chapa Herrera. 34th minute card issued.
Yeah, Abusi recognized he was never going to get to that ball. He was late to it, so all he could do was stick his body out and make contact with Chapa Herrera to slow him down and keep him from getting to goal.
Ryan loses that battle, but Andrew Fox is going to win it back. Well played by, that's actually Becky, my apologies. Drew Becky knows how to execute that slide tackle, doesn't he? Partida keeping it. Nice job to get it up to Salgado. And Salgado will be whistled for the foul. Over the back of Kai Green. Quick restart for San Antonio FC. Wellington Packard. Restrepo. Fox trying to roll that one up for Kiffey, but it will go out of play. Take a look on the replay. Looks like we've got a second and closer look at that Nick Ross injury, and I think he sat on his right ankle.
Yeah, it just looked like he might have hyper. I don't know if it's hyperextended, if that right knee gets caught under him, but looks like the right knee gets caught under him, and that's why you saw the ice pack on it before he left the field of play.
High boot. But Kai Green dealing with the unstoppable force that is Omar Salgado. He's such a large body, you don't expect him to be as fast as he is or as quick as he is, but certainly Kai Green knew what was coming if he let that one go. Gebhardt dealt with well by Billy Forbes. Only as far as Kiffey. Locomotive FC keeping it on the San Antonio half of the field. Get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for El Paso Locomotive FC. Click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores and reminders on El Paso's next match. Go to ESPN.com. Click follow for your club. And that'll be a foul on the ground called on Omar Salgado. Goes nowhere though for San Antonio FC. Winless on the road this season. And again in 14th place in the Western Conference on the outside of the playoff picture looking up. Locomotive hasn't played in a week and a half, but has only slipped one spot based on last weekend's action, down to 6th from 5th.
I'd imagine the addition of Frank Lopez is to give him that push to get into the playoffs.
Contreras. Great work. Draws the double team. Looking to lay it back. Rebellon crosses far post. Partida tries to go first time.
That's a great ball from Brian Rebellon. Really good patience from Sebastian Contreras, recognizing they couldn't get a quality cross into the box, pulling it back out, finding Brian Rebellon, who was able to serve the ball towards the back post. Edson Partida, unfortunately, couldn't get enough on the ball to get it towards goal.
Solid work by Chapa Herrera. Packard a little loose with the ball. Herrera to Seba Contreras. Out it'll come. Ebusi. Becky has it bounce on him. Does well to get it back to Fox with Lopez pressuring. What a move by Rebellon. Brian Rebellon, the Colombian. Out to Contreras, the dummy. Partida. Out wide to Kiffy. Kiffy slips by his man. Low cross, driven in and pushed back out for the throw-in. But Locomotive FC playing a bit of keep away there and doing a pretty good job of it. Fox. Good thought by Ryan. Into the corner. The cross. Looking for Gebhardt was Salgado. Didn't work. And a foul committed by Herrera. We'll give the restart to San Antonio FC.
You see the Locomotive looking to target Ebusi a little bit. Most of their actions I've been trying to get him in 1v1 situation. He's also on the yellow card, so that's something to keep in mind. I'd anticipate that they'll look to isolate him with Omar Salgado as the game goes on.
And almost Omar Salgado able to step in front of that. Good work by Ebusi to slip it. But he hasn't had the best opening half, has he? Restrepo. Packard into the middle and back outside. Restrepo sending the long ball, looking for Lopez, and again, Andy Fox is on his game. Only so far as the half line, though, and here's Parano. Knocks over Richie Ryan, but Ryan does his job. Gets possession back for Chapa Herrera. Slow roller. Fox slips between. Good work by the Englishman. Long ball, Gebhardt challenging. Good work by Cardone just to get a piece of it, or Gebhardt was putting it into an empty net.
That's a great ball from Andrew Fox. We saw him play that exact same type of ball in the last game to Chapa Herrera for the own goal. That's what Andrew Fox is capable of doing from the back line, stretching the opposition with those balls over the top.
Ketterer, as that one is onside to Billy Forbes. Able to play it out left and now trying to work it back out the other way. Becky to Herrera. Partida ranging over from the left. Rebellon, Contreras. A little bit of a heavy first touch, but Omar Salgado is going to clean it up. Salgado. Contreras will have a go. That's partially deflected. How about Rebellon? Contreras again, and it's offside. Hit Gebhardt, and that forces the flag.
I'm watching the players get a little frustrated with referee Mark Alton. He's really quick to blow his whistle, and he's missing advantage opportunities. And I'm sure the players are telling him and they're letting him know, hey, let the game go. If there's not an advantage, then you can blow your whistle. He's called it early a couple of times, and you've seen the players show their frustration.
Alton and Manuel Vargas combining to take the first ball in the back of the net off the scoreboard for Locomotive FC. Offside on Omar Salgado on Contreras' seeing eyeball in the left corner of the box. Well done by Billy Forbes. Gets to the back line, but nobody helps. Becky, though, will roll it into touch.
That's the danger of Billy Forbes. We haven't called his name a lot in this first half. However, one ball over the top, and he's in.
And here he is. Forbes by his man, rolls it across a wide open net, trying to set it up. going far post and missing over the crossbar is Restrepo. If he'd been able to first time it, kind of jumped on him a little bit. He had to settle it down, and Ketterer gets back to his line.
As I'm watching this closely, James Kiffey is very lucky not to get a foul called on him. He pummels Christian Pirano at that back post, and the referee misses it.
Locomotive FC trying to work their way out of danger. Quick strike. San Antonio opportunistic. That's what got them their first goal in the 8th minute. Frank Lopez scoring his 7th of the season, his first for San Antonio. Bradford Jamison putting it across. They'll go from left to right. And Restrepo rather. Restarting things from the right wing. 8th notch making their voices heard. Locomotive FC. They can't bring down Pirano. Out it'll come to Lopez. Lopez. Nifty chip. Restrepo back into the middle. Too hot to handle. And how about Billy Forbes getting a touch in there? That's going to roll over the back line after a almost disastrous back pass by Chape Herrera.
And you see the San Antonio be patient, almost lure the Locomotive to sleep with their build up with the back three, and then with the ball into Christian Pirano, he turns up the tempo and they go straight to goal.
And how big has Lopez been? Not only the goal scored, but generally his movement and pressure.
Absolutely. I'm watching him work off the ball, and his energy and his work rate has caused a lot of problems for the Locomotive back line.
That's deflected back for Kiffey. Ross trying to get it up to Contreras, but intercepted, and well done by Michael Lahoud. Kiffey waiting to see where the pressure came from Restrepo. Gebhardt trying to get by his man. But Yaro's on the scene. One touch by Fox. Becky. Well done. Salgado. And we're hearing that it's going to be 5 minutes of stoppage time. You knew there would be a few minutes. Injuries, hydration breaks, etc. Herrera, Becky, and Fox. Andrew Fox leveling the score in the 28th minute. And it is official, 5 minutes of stoppage time. Edson Partida ready to go to work on the distribution. Partida, long cross ahead of Gebhardt, and Cardone with a quick restart. Pirano, good slide tackle by Ryan, well timed. Seba Contreras. Partida trying to slip his way wide. Little help from Contreras as he's tripped up. Chested down, and Pirano does well to get it out of trouble for San Antonio FC. Both of these teams tied with 3 points at the bottom of the Copa Tejas standings. Lofted over, looking for Billy Forbes, who's going to get there. Becky goes to ground early. Forbes is back up. Forbes drawing the double team. Forbes, and snatched away by Ketterer. Billy Forbes providing some headaches on that left wing.
And then Brian Rebellon has done a great job so far in this game, keeping Billy Forbes quiet. However, you're starting to see him get involved in this game, and this is something the Locomotive are going to have to address at halftime. And how do you eliminate and how do you silence the threat of Billy Forbes?
Darren Powell with a nice handshake for Brian Rebellon. Talk about what Mark Lowry's trying to do, working different pieces into that back line just to keep things settled. But it is good to have Rebellon and Kiffy both healthy at right and left back respectively. And here is Kiffy. Long cross. Headed back out into touch. Ebusi. Locomotive FC doesn't seem like it's been able to get where they want to be on Pascal Ebusi.
And I think that's something that Coach Mark Lowry is going to address at halftime is how do you get Omar Salgado, how do you get Derek Getbar wide, and in those opportunities where they can receive the ball to feet and run at Pascal Ebusi 1v1. I think that's going to be something they're going to need to exploit in this game. He's on a yellow card. He's not the strongest 1v1 defender.
Up to Lopez. Lopez will score. Long ball from the left side, and Lopez in behind the defense to give San Antonio a 2-1 lead in stoppage time.
That's a deflator for the Locomotive. You're in stoppage time. You can't give up a goal like that. You see Drew Becky watching the ball, not getting enough communication from Andrew Fox, and Frank Lopez just sneaking in behind him, and a great ball to put him into goal.
Goodness gracious, and Mark Lowry. Chalkboard work to do at halftime.
There's got to be better communication between Andrew Fox and Drew Becky on that. Frank Lopez cannot have that much room, that much space to run in the behind with his pace, with his quality. They have to do a better job of picking him up.
Here is Gebhardt. Contreras is going to get it back, but taken away again by Packard. Salgado working on Ebusi. About a minute and change left in this first half. Partida. Slow roller will find Kiffy. Kiffy dealing with Parano. And it'll be a corner kick. James Kiffy. USL veteran. Won a championship with Sac Republic a few years back. Might he have some set piece magic left here in the restart. Locomotive FC evening things in the corner kick. Can they do so again? Hooked wide by Partida. First timing again, and that will be a goal kick. And that will be all but the finish of our first half of play. Cardone in no hurry to restart. Stoppage time. Second goal, the brace by Frank Lopez. And that is the end of the first half. Deflation indeed here in El Paso, Texas. Our score at halftime. San Antonio FC 2, El Paso Locomotive FC 1. And some work to do in the locker room for Mark Lowry and company. Stick around when we come back. Highlights from an interesting first half, along with some statistics. A look at the scores around the rest of the league on a Wednesday evening in El Paso. 2-1 San Antonio at the half.
Welcome back to Southwest University Park. At halftime, the score is El Paso Locomotive FC 1, San Antonio FC 2. Much has been made this year about the rise of Luis Chapa Herrera, the young man from El Paso, coming from working for construction and now playing professional soccer with the Locomotive. Coach Mark Lowry has talked about how he's earned everything through hard work in OKC. We saw Chapa Herrera make a strong run into the side of the box to get the tying goal for the Locomotive.
He was 22 with a child, with a full-time job with bills. Okay, and then there's 22 senior in college, you know, no responsibilities, mom and dad paying your bills, mom and dad pay your car. But Chapa was already mature as a man, right? He already had a wife and a kid and bills and family, and that's so like that really does go hand in hand with what you can do on the field.
It's forward for El Paso into the box, and it's into the bunker.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't know if it was like actually my goal or it was the defenders. I think the league called it a non-goal, but I mean, I could take the credit because I made the run. But like I said, I'm happy that I could help the team with the 1 point on the road.
I think one thing that Chapa has is he's always asking questions, so that shows how much he wants to learn about the game. And I think for players like me and Yuma, we're coming towards the end of our career, and we've had long enough of a career that I've learned different things along the way that I hope can benefit the likes of Chapa and other players to make a career for themselves in the game.
I mean, everyone here in the team is a good mentor for me. I mean, everyone has the experience of playing professional, so I take a little bit from everyone, and not only just on the field but outside the field. They give me a lot of advice every time they can.
Just watching him play, he takes the game by the scruff of the neck, his work rate, and that goal was him in a nutshell, and that's what makes him so special. You know, that internal drive. And I'm happy now. He's obviously playing a lot, and he's starting to get those rewards. That goal was great for him, fully deserved, and there's more where that came from. I'll tell you right now, there's more where it came from.
Truly a special player and a special young man. Currently the score is El Paso Locomotive 1, San Antonio FC 2. We'll be right back.
Long strike, a goal for Orange County. Lacroix and Duke Lacroix. This is dangerous, headed on frame. It is a goal for Orange County. And Corey Herzog, and he perfectly places it. Get towards the back post, in the air and through. Orange County. Williams with some space. Williams curls it inside the 18. Soccer attempt and a beautiful strike on the bicycle for Lansing Ignite FC. Absolutely incredible. Elma Enfor. Are you kidding me? Going long distance, trying to connect with Sayone. And he puts it in the back of the net from long distance. Sending it forward. Here's another opportunity, and boy, you back of the net. That is what they've been looking to do all night long. 91st minute, we are tied at 1 apiece. Here's Mintz again. Mintz gets across to the top of the D. Moshomani, left foot. Beautiful strike. Tumi Moshomani. Here comes North Texas on the attack. The strike and a goal.
Is this the moment? Jose Angulo! Dillon Stadium alive again! Martinez! What a way to secure a hat-trick! Douglas Martinez taking the spotlight!
Gets to keep it out, does the 17-year-old. Looked like it hit the heel of Forrester, and the Bold have the answer moments later. Guess who? Tierpak. Cervantes got the early rounds against the super sub. There's bodies up there. There's bodies up there. See this. This is where he shines. Cross that in, lets it through. Here's Partey! Can you believe that? What a strike! His second on the year.
Kobayashi trying to pick out Brian Wright. Wright brings it down. Wright puts it in!
Welcome back, everybody, to Southwest University Park. The score at halftime, Locomotive FC 1, San Antonio FC 2, as Locomotive FC having to deal with the man on loan from Galaxy 2, Frank Lopez. And that started early as we take a look at the first half highlights. Frank Lopez. Let's take a look at other scores first from around the rest of the United Soccer League Championship, as we will bring you Phoenix Rising FC. This is a lot from Saturday. Rising FC 1-0 over Rio Grande Valley Toros. Sac Republic, a big win over Timbers 2 to keep them near the top of the Western Conference, led by Phoenix Rising. As you see, Rising FC, 9 consecutive wins with that big one on Saturday. Switchbacks FC trying to right their ship, a win over Tulsa Roughnecks FC, who have had their issues. Austin Bold, a big win at home over Orange County SC 3-2. You're not misreading that one in the lower right-hand corner. That is Red Bulls 2-8, Atlanta United 2-1. That's not from MLS. And then you saw Fresno FC with a big win as well. As you take a look at the standings, Fresno FC has been on something of a tear. Big win over Locomotive FC in Locomotive FC's last road game, or one of their last road games. But nipping at the heels of Rising FC, winners of 9 in a row. They are way up at the top of the Western Conference. Reno, Austin, firmly in the playoff picture. Timbers 2, Locomotive FC is still in the playoff hunt with 28 points in 6th place. And Oklahoma City Energy FC sneaking in there. New Mexico United has had their issues trying to right their ship. 26 points in 9th place in the West. Taking a look at some of the storylines around the United Soccer Leagues. Roster additions for Locomotive FC, Makinde and Velasquez joining the team. You can read about all of that at eplocomotivefc.com. Brian Rebellon, the midseason award winner for right back of the year. 37 of 47 tackles, 21 interceptions, and 115 duels won. And the championship power rankings, which you can read every Monday at uslchampionship.com. See those new power rankings this Monday after, well, El Paso Locomotive will play another game this Saturday versus Real Monarchs. And that will be coming on Monday in about 5 days. Let's take a look at the highlights right now. Let's take a look at the package, pardon me.
My name is Moses McKinday. I'm a left back. I can also play central defense, but primarily a left back. Originally born in London, but grew up in Baltimore.
Moses has been great. He's getting stronger every day. It's taken him a while to transition. We do things a little differently, frankly. He's now probably a week or two into it, just starting to look like the player I know he can be. Today was his best session. He was sharp today. He was moving the ball well. Really understanding the concepts a little bit more. So he's going to be great depth for us. He's going to be very important as we kind of go through the season, hopefully into playoffs. To have that depth, that experience in the depth, is going to be a massive game changer for us.
Just do my job, come in, be strong defensively, help the team keep the ball, and just help us get shutouts and win games.
I'm Sebastian Velasquez. I'm number 7. I'm an attacking midfielder. I'm from Medellin, Colombia.
Sebastian Velasquez, very good player, obviously, known around the league, known around MLS. It's been great to have him here. He's lacking a little match fitness. He hasn't played for nearly a month, but once again, each day he's looking sharper. He's great on the ball. He gives us that bit of quality in the final third that we've been lacking. Obviously Jerome's been scoring goals, but we need somebody else to not just provide assists. We've got guys that can assist. We need goals as well, and I think Sebastian's going to be an attacking midfielder that wants to score goals, and that's the difference. Having that instinct to go and get in the box and score goals, and he definitely has that.
I want to win a championship. If you're going to step on the field and play any game, you either want to be a winner or you want to be a loser, and I'm a winner, so I want to win a championship, nothing less. I want to be first on the table. I want to win a championship. I want my teammates or myself to be the leading goal scorer, the assist. We got to be first in everything, and that's just how it is.
That is Velasquez. He's not active tonight. Could see some big action this evening, though, from Moses Makinde, possibly later this evening. That is a look at the 2 new players. Let's take a break. San Antonio FC with a 1-goal lead here at halftime. You're watching Locomotive FC Soccer. Welcome back to Southwest University Park. Locomotive FC trailing by a goal, 2-1 to San Antonio FC. A quick look at the highlight package from the first half, and it was the Frank Lopez show early, the Frank Lopez show late. Parano putting in the shot, put back in by Lopez on loan from Galaxy 2. Are you kidding me? Amazing. Seba Contreras, we thought had scored the goal, but they ruled Omar Salgado offside. Kiffy, though, providing service from the corner, and on the restart, Andrew Fox levels the game in the 28th minute. Big opportunity here on the half volley. Edson Partida, as you will see, Andy Fox getting things going. Good ball from Rebellon. First time by the young man on loan from Toluca, but it sprayed wide. And then, ball watching. Locomotive FC in behind. Frank Lopez in stoppage time gives San Antonio FC the 2-1 lead. Lots of adjustments to make here at half, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a terrific second half. Looking forward to see how the Locomotive adjusts and how they go at Pascal Abusi in this second half. As we see already, we see Derek Gebhardt already sliding to the right side. I think they're going to have Derek Gebhardt just face him on and stretch that back line of San Antonio FC and look to force Pascal Abusi to defend 1v1.
As we say, a short bench for Locomotive FC, and they've already had to use one substitution as Nick Ross is off in the 32nd minute, replaced by Edson Partida. As we are waiting for Mark Allerton's whistle to get started here in half number 2. But if you're San Antonio FC and Darren Powell, boy, are you loving life. The guy you got on loan 2 days ago has scored twice already.
Oh, absolutely. And Frank Lopez has contributed in this game, and we haven't mentioned Billy Forbes quite often. And still on the bench, you have Jack Barnaby, and also your leading goal scorer before Frank Lopez came to the team in Ever Guzman. So Darren Powell has to be comfortable, and he has to be excited about where the team is sitting right now going to the second half.
We talk about Jerome Kiesewetter missing from the lineup. Jack Barnaby, an absolutely huge piece of San Antonio FC's puzzle all season long with 4 goals this season. Red carded in the match against El Paso Locomotive in San Antonio. Already having served a suspension, obviously, as Rebellon taken down. A late whistle by Allerton. Disagreeing is Billy Forbes, but good work by the Colombian. Brian Rebellon. Fouled by Forbes.
Does a good job to sell that foul. There was some contact, not a lot of contact, however. Goes to the ground, and the referee felt there was enough contact to call that a foul.
Matt Cardone, as Forbes continues to get a talking to from Mark Allerton. Seba Contreras in very dangerous territory. Anything off to the edge of the box. We talked about those scratch shots in pool. You touch it, it goes in the wrong place. Contreras is going to go for the far post, but Matt Cardone had his angles covered. I'm not sure if that's what he wanted to do.
Not the best service from Sebastian Contreras. We've seen him target. We've seen James Kiffy target Andrew Fox on the corner kicks. And I was very surprised to see them not target him on that set piece.
Cardone elects to go long. Locomotive FC ready to apply some pressure up top. Good moves by Jamison. Taking off the ball, and here's Contreras. Tried to loft one, but Salgado recognizing where that was headed. Pulls out of the run. Abusi. There you see Chaparrera. Moving him forward. Cardone. Oh, that is slow rolling. Gebhardt gets a piece to chest it down, but straight to the waiting feet of Joshua Yarrow. Locomotive FC trying to work it out of trouble, and Andrew Fox comes up limping from his challenge on Cristian Parano, the Argentinian, has been in battles all night long in the midfield with Richie Ryan, Fox, and others. Gebhardt gets a piece. Can't keep possession, but here's Richie Ryan on the restart. That one's intercepted on a run by Kai Green. Stepping into that challenge, well done by Kiffey. Packard. Fouled by Contreras. And what do we have here? We have a weather delay for lightning in the area, and I think it's off to the south. We saw a bunch out east, but we are stopping the match in the 50th minute. And that is a mandatory delay of at least 30 minutes from the last lightning strike. Cloudy skies in El Paso as that heat wave trying to bust up, as Locomotive FC trying to bust out here at home. It's been a while since they won their last game. Trying to get things restarted in the second 45 minutes, but 5 minutes into the second half, we will have a delay.
It's going to be interesting to see who comes out of this lightning delay and is able to stay warm in the locker room and is able to take advantage of the additional time you get to talk in with the coaching staff. Some coaches will just leave their players alone. They've gotten enough information at halftime. They don't want to overload them with information during a delay like this. Some coaches want to engage their players, maybe in group settings or just individual. So it'll be interesting to see what approach both coaches take to handling this delay.
Just after sunset in El Paso, Texas, you see some of those clouds in the area as Mark Allerton is elected to stop the match. That is a lightning strike within a certain radius, and they have to wait 30 minutes after that lightning strike to find out what happens next. Will it provide a respite for Locomotive FC to get a little further instruction from Mark Lowry and be ready to rock and roll?
Saw a similar thing in the Gold Cup recently between the U.S. and Jamaica, where there was a lightning delay and they were in the locker room for over an hour. So again, this is something that happens every now and then, but it's how coaches prepare and how coaches deal with it, and how coaches handle keeping their team loose and ready to come back on the field.
And there you see the passing accuracy. That is interesting. The Locomotive FC have dominated possession. San Antonio FC, 88.4% of their passing. They are not in a bad place. They're among the top teams on the top half of passing accuracy. Of course, Locomotive FC, as they've been all season, are on top. Season passing average, it's completed passing percentage. Locomotive FC at 85%. That has been the way it's been for 3 months. Mark Lowry's squad, 86.2% here today. But San Antonio FC has certainly made their passes count. Good when you can send a long ball to somebody like Frank Lopez. In the early going, in the 8th minute he scores, and in stoppage time he scores again. A beautifully lofted pass from the back to give San Antonio FC the 2-1 lead. And there you see, they're content to let the other team play with possession, but when they start to move up the field and they smell blood, that 3-4-3 you were talking about, they can make teams really think twice about what you do.
Yeah, they've done a terrific job in this game. They do a good job, a solid job in their build-up, from the goalkeepers to the back line, how they build up. They do a great job with that. Where they differ from the Locomotive is once they get into that second third, that middle third of the field, they're looking to be a bit more direct in their play. And we saw it on the second goal, the goal during the stoppage time to Frank Lopez. It was the ball over the top. So they're not looking to build up into the final third and connect passes and be patient all the way through. They're just looking to build up out of that, their defensive third, get into the middle third, and then look to hit you quickly going to goal.
Well, it's worked so far here tonight in El Paso. And, you know, you talk about Locomotive FC's injury situation. Drew Becky, obviously a very accomplished defender. You know, Andrew Fox can play a bit on the wing. He can play, I believe he's played defensive midfield. He's also been center back for Locomotive FC. Very adaptable player, and he's gotten the goal tonight. But it's those two guys in the middle that were a bit taken advantage of. But, you know, as you say, you get to that middle third, you knock in a long ball, and somebody like Frank Lopez is going to be at the other end of that.
Yeah, and right before his goal, we talked about his work rate, his energy up there, his movement off the ball. He does a terrific job of playing in between those two center backs, and anything over the top he's running onto, he's chasing down.
Let's see some of the video, if we've got it. We keep looking the sky. We're searching the skies for lightning here out of downtown El Paso. That's looking kind of northeast from Southwest University Park. Actually looks like northwest. But you talk about the El Paso injuries. Missing tonight from the lineup, Josh Castellanos, of course, Mishak Jerome, out for the season with an Achilles injury. Yuma, that's a big one. Yuma in the defensive midfield, part of that double pivot along with Richie Ryan. He's the hard man. Well, not that Ryan can't be, but Ryan's more of a facilitator. He's the glue. He's the guy who's going to make you stick in the back and keep things away from the back line, as well as move things forward a little bit defensively. Missing him is missing a big component. The 34-year-old Spaniard is out with a lower leg injury, as he has been for most of this month. And Josue Aron Gomez, lower leg injury. He is out this evening and out of the lineup as well. Only 4 players outside of Jermaine Forta for Mark Lowry to choose from, and he's already had to use one of those substitutions, bringing on its own partida for Nick Ross tonight.
Yeah, and right now all 4 of those injuries are looking pivotal because in Mishak Jerome, you have an anchor in your back line. In Yuma, you have a player who has a great relationship with Richie Ryan, and before he was injured, they did a great job of making sure they didn't get scored on. I believe Logan Ketterer was number 1 or 2 in the league in terms of goals average against. So in those 2 players there, they held down the defense, and they were a solid defensive unit. The other 2, however, with a game like this where you're down 2-1, you need the sparks of Jose Aron Gomez and a Joshua Castellanos who can come off the bench and give you something in the attack. When you don't have all 4 players, and not to include Jerome Kiesewetter, when you don't have those guys, it makes it difficult for you, and it makes your job as a coach just a little bit difficult.
Well, when you talk about available off the bench, Chiro Ntoko is there, but he is still trying to nurse his way back, trying to get his way out of the injury situation. Moses Makinde still working, and Jerome Kiesewetter not even on the bench. 14 appearances, 14 starts, 10 goals, leading the team. 125 minutes, 0.3 minutes per goal. That is gold in the USL Championship, and in the double figures, he's still among the league leaders right now, tied for 4th in the USL Championship. Solomon Asante, as you would expect, is number 1 with 12 goals. Kevon Frater there with 11 as well. And Daniel Rios from Nashville SC, both with 11 goals. But then you've got Tom Barlow, who I'm not sure if he's going to come back to Red Bulls too. If he wasn't a part of that 8-1 scoreline versus Atlanta, I don't think he's coming back at all. He should be leading if he was back with Red Bulls too. I think he's up with the top squad in New York City. Followed by Kiesewetter, Adam John with 10 goals, Sebastian Guenzati from Tampa Bay Rowdies also with 10 goals. So you've got 4 players tied for 4th right now in the league. But yeah, you're missing a double-digit goal scorer, and you're midway through the season. That's a huge, huge loss for Mark Lowry.
Yeah, absolutely. However, that's the reason why he brought in a Sebastian Velasquez, because he feels and not only can he create and create for other people, but he can also get goals. He's an attacking-minded player that'll get inside the box. He'll create, but once he sees moments and opportunities to get inside the box and get goals, he's definitely capable of doing that. So that's why Sebastian Velasquez has been added to this group. It's a shame that he's not going to be able to feature in this game, because they could use a spark like Sebastian Velasquez.
Of course, with Real Salt Lake, I think in the latter stages of Jason Kreis's tenure as head coach for Real Salt Lake, 38 appearances in Major League Soccer and a couple of goals. But with the Real Monarchs, from 2017 to 2018, 16 goals in 47 appearances, He is a bit of a facilitator. He's a playmaker, but we have seen some of his highlights, and that young man can bring the heat. You want to talk about bangers? It's funny. You look at Locomotive FC's highlights this season. You can't say that anybody scored what would be categorized as a banger, something from the edge of the 18-yard box that just, you put your foot through it and it goes into the back of the net. We have not seen those kinds of goals. We have seen team goals. We've seen Kiesewetter with one touch be in the right place at the right time, crosses in from the wings. Locomotive FC's game completely changed when Jerome Kiesewetter showed up. Sebastian Velasquez is a guy, though, who can deliver a great, great shot and do it from outside the areas. There you see some lightning flashes there off to the south. Just above that, just above the grandstand area. And again, it's got to be within a certain distance or outside of a certain distance, and you have 30 minutes from the last lightning strike. Because once again, we are in delay here at Southwest University Park. 2-1 is the scoreline. San Antonio FC on top of Locomotive FC. But you want to talk about a guy who can deliver big shots, Seba Velasquez. That's one of the reasons I think Mark Lowry brought him in. It has certainly garnered a lot of attention around the league, and maybe that difference maker as Locomotive FC looks to bolster its attack, which, Jerome Kiesewetter, player of the month from May, but he spent a June not scoring goals, and that was not where he wanted to be, Mike.
Yeah, and with the attention that Jerome Kiesewetter has gotten since he scored his 10 goals,
yes.
Everyone in the league, everyone in his conference is going to pay a bit more attention to him. So to bring in someone that can relieve him of that pressure, to draw some attention away from Jerome Kiesewetter is only going to help him score more goals, but also give the team another outlet, another option in the attack.
He'll wear the number 7 when he comes in. Seba Contreras, a little buddy action there. Some South American midfield creation. It is Locomotive FC 1, San Antonio FC 2 here from Southwest University Park. Let's take a break as we continue here in lightning delay in El Paso, Texas. Welcome back, everybody. It is Locomotive FC Soccer in a weather delay tonight in this second Copa Tejas match between San Antonio FC and Locomotive FC. Scoreless in San Antonio at Toyota Field. Duke Keith along with Michael Balogun, and it is, well, you have to wait 30 minutes after the last lightning strike. That's kind of the way things work. 30 minutes after the last lightning strike, but as I look at some of the live radar and as you see some of the shots, off to the north, all of those clouds are moving to the south, and you see kind of that little bit of the last of the sunset there off to the north. That's good news, because that means a lot of this stuff is moving out of the area, and I think that we will be able to restart here soon enough. Most of the lightning and most of the storm action seems to be moving north to south, and there you see how it was kind of divvied up. And if you are Mark Lowry, if you are in a weather delay, you talked about how some coaches like to be in their players' heads and engaging with them. Locomotive FC, though, a pretty experienced lineup, Michael, and I would imagine there are some players he might be talking to and other guys that might be off, having a sip of water.
No, and
putting in the earbuds.
Yeah, and I think I just saw Mark Lowry not even in the locker room, just hanging out by the tunnel, trying to get some more information from the officials around the field to see what's going on. But he has the experience in the locker room in Richie Ryan that he can lean on, and he can leave him in there and let him be the one to corral the group and essentially deliver the same message that Mark Lowry would if he was in the locker room. So there's enough experience in that locker room to where Mark Lowry doesn't have to be physically there, but he is there because he has the experience of someone like a Richie Ryan that can deliver the message.
But is Richie Ryan as well dressed as Mark Lowry? That's the question. That's the question, because Mark Lowry nominated for the best dressed head coach in the USL Championship. This is something the league website has put together, and you can vote. He's currently in 6th place. USLChampionship.com. Mark Lowry nominated for best dressed head coach in the championship, and put in your votes now, because you see the sweater in that picture to the right. That's what he wore, even when it was 100 degrees outside, up to the point where they lost to Las Vegas Lights FC. It was that 9-game unbeaten streak. He wasn't going to change the clothes. They started it when it was cold, that unbeaten streak. So he kept it on all the way through. And I think the sweater has served him well. It got him nominated for best dressed.
Yeah, and I think just for that, he should win the best dressed coach in the league.
Even though he didn't change the look, you're right.
When it's 100 degrees in El Paso, in the desert, and you're in a sweater, you deserve to be applauded for that.
About 100 degrees in South Texas, right? That's Austin Bold was part of that string too.
Exactly.
That's nasty, man. Woof.
You get the heat and the humidity of South Texas, of Austin, Texas. It's in
the daytime.
It's not fun.
In the sunshine, Mark Lowry sporting that sweater. It's amazing. But vote for Coach Mark Lowry now if you want to at USLChampionship.com. Currently in 6th place. In 1st place, well, Troy Lesane. Lesane, the head coach of New Mexico United, he's always got a suit and tie. The man always, it's a little rumpled by the end of the match, but he's always got a suit and tie on.
Yeah, but I'm sure Troy Lesane would gladly forfeit the best dressed coach in the league to get his team back to where he wants them. They've slipped. They've had a slip in their run of form of late. It started with the 5-0 loss, and ever since then, it's been trying to balance between the championship and the U.S. Open Cup run, and they haven't done a good enough job with that.
As we take a look at the standings, New Mexico United right now in 10th place with 26 points, on the verge of slipping out of the playoff picture. They have lost 4 of their last 5. Now, we should point out something. New Mexico United, after the results, this is like, I'm looking at the live standings. This is going into to today. New Mexico United in 9th. OKC Energy they've earned a draw, so they've got 27 points now, and they're up to 8th position. Followed by Sac Republic FC and New Mexico United, both on 26 points. San Antonio FC would have 26 points if they maintain their lead this evening and win the game. Their first road win of the season is what that would be, and that would put them there, but they'd still be on the outside looking in based on goal differential right now at +1, with the 2 goals, but having given one up versus Locomotive FC here tonight. Well, it would be actually dead even. It would be 0 because they're -1 going into this evening. They are +1 this evening by virtue of that lead over Locomotive FC. Just, looking at the live standings, things are going to change Las Vegas Lights, they're not in action. San Antonio FC would jump them for the 11th position, right on the outside of the Western Conference playoffs looking in. So a very, very big game tonight for San Antonio FC. As you take a look.
And you see all the teams from 4th to 10th, 4th to really 13th, or within a couple of points of each other. So it's a tight race for those last slots. It's going to be a tight race all season long for those last couple of slots in the conference. Coach Mark Lowry said it earlier in the year. You're not going to really see a lot of separation from teams in the league. However, you get the likes of Phoenix Rising, who have started to distinguish themselves and separate themselves from the rest of the league. So can the Locomotive really bounce back from this the slip in form and start catching up to the Phoenix Rising?
You talk about Rising FC, 9 straight wins going into this evening, as we will take another break and be back with plenty more here in Weather Delay in El Paso, Texas. More after this. Welcome back, everybody, to Southwest University Park. El Paso Locomotive FC trailing San Antonio FC 2-1. We are in a lightning delay as a lot of the severe storm cells are kind of moving their way to the west, off to the west of the ballpark, off to the west of the park, and now down south. We do expect to be restarting here soon, but not real soon. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how good Mark Lowry has been at predicting how things have gone this season. Back in the early part of the season, my broadcast partner, Michael Ballaghan, had an opportunity to sit down with a coach, and you and he had a pretty frank discussion about the length of the season, what he expected to see. This was before the start of before March had even come around and Locomotive FC had begun as a team.
Yeah, he had a good idea, and he knew it was going to be a marathon. He was looking at the bigger picture and not so much the first game. He was focused on the first game. However, he was able to keep focus on the big picture and recognize this is not going to be a sprint. It's going to be a marathon, and he articulated that very, very well in our sit down.
Let's take a look at that package from before the season started. Keep that in mind, and we'll see what some of the different notes that Mark Lowry touched on as we have a look. Going back in time, Michael Balogun's interview with Mark.
Time to sit down with us. I know it's a busy time for you and your staff, so I really appreciate you being here. We'll dive right in. How would you describe your philosophy, and what can fans expect from the team this year?
We're not a team that goes back to front very quickly. I don't believe in kicking long balls down the field and hoping that it ends up, at one of your players' feet or into an opportunity. I don't believe in that. I believe in controlling the possession, doing it methodically, doing it with patience. So expect to see your team have a lot of the ball. It won't always be gung-ho, 1,000 miles an hour going forward, even though that can be entertaining. For a coach and for a team, we want to control the game. And we're going to do that the best we can. We're going to control the spaces by controlling the ball.
What are the benefits of playing that style?
You get to dominate the game. You get to control the majority of the game. And if you can control the majority of the game, you have the best chance of winning. Because if you can control the ball and dominate possession and move up the field together with all 11 players in coordination, you're much better suited then to when you lose the ball to winning it back. You can control the spaces for counterattacks against you. And you can limit their opportunities just by having a lot more of the ball. So for me, it allows us to dominate the game, and that's all, as a coach, that's all I've asked them to do, is go and dominate every single game. If we dominate every single game, more often than not, we'll end up winning it.
I understand you're working on your Spanish quite a bit.
Yes.
Can we expect an interview or a press conference from you in the near future?
100%. Every game, I expect to do that. I'm prepared to do it. That was one of the things that appealed to me as well, that challenge. Wherever I go, I want to be challenged, whether it's on the field or off the field, and that for me was obviously the challenge here is growing a new club, starting it from scratch, and that in itself is a challenge, but I love the idea of diving into the Spanish language and the Spanish culture a little bit more, the Mexican culture, because I enjoy it. It's only going to help me as a coach, only going to help my players if I can communicate with them. So yeah, I've already done a number of interviews in Spanish, and every interview I do, I go away and I kind of watch it back and assess it, and there's still, I'm like, man, why did I say that? I need to do better. So I have classes, I'm practicing every day. I want to embrace it. I want to become fluent. I'm very comfortable right now with it, but I want to keep getting better, just like anything we do. With the team, with myself, we just want to keep getting better, and definitely the Spanish language is something that I'm very invested in. I want to become very fluent at it.
Okay. Well, those are the words of Mark Lowry, head coach for Locomotive FC, as we are continuing in weather delay here in El Paso, Texas. 2-1 to San Antonio FC, the visitors on the board first and last, sandwiched between Andrew Fox's goal. Duke Keith, Michael Balogun with you. And as you listen back to that interview, before the season started to now, Mark Lowry, as you pointed out, has it firmly in mind. This is a very long season. It goes from March, the regular season goes into October. That's longer than the Chihuahuas play baseball. And it's amazing to think that the playoff race isn't going to begin until mid to late October in the USL Championship. But, what do you think about Mark Lowry being a young coach, but still kind of realizing this is the way things are at Second Division American soccer?
Yeah, I think there's two things that strike me from that conversation and seeing where the team is now is that he had an idea and he knew this was going to be a long season. It's going to be a season. It's not just going to be a one-game season, a 2-month season. It's going to be a long season. So how do I prepare this group, and how do I have them play our style for the duration of the season? The second thing that I appreciate and I recognize about Mark Lowry's style is they did well and went on that nine-run winning streak, or that 9-run unbeaten streak, I should say. And then recently they've lost lost two and tied 2 in their last 4 games. But what you haven't seen is them throw everything that they're used to, everything that made them successful early on in the season. You haven't seen them throw it away and look for something different. They've stuck to it. They just recognize we just need to regroup, get through some of these injury problems that we have, and we'll be fine. So it's really impressive to see him be able to get a new team a young team to be able to buy into his style and be able to continue to progress through this long season.
Locomotive FC begins the season the way they play. They have stuck with it all the way through, and we have certainly seen that. One of the players that has been a surprise for Mark Lowry has been Luis Chapa Herrera, and the native El Pasoan played at Bel Air High School. He thought his playing days were all but over, except maybe in rec league stuff. Was a part of the Texas Fire organization, which is pretty competitive, but it's not professional. He impressed the Locomotive FC staff so much. Attended a tryout in December, working construction, and they invited him back for a second open tryout, and then a third. And it was an amazing run for Luis Chapa Herrera to get from that point to be a part of the Locomotive roster, and then in his very first professional season to make his way into games to the point where he is regularly starting for Mark Lowry. Just an impressive young man.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've heard Coach Mark Lowry talk about the intangibles, the non-soccer things that make Luis Chapa Herrera special. He's talked about how at 22 years old, he's different from most 22 years old in the States. Most 22-year-olds are going into their senior year or are in their senior year in college, so there's a different level of responsibility that Chapa Herrera had at 22 compared to most 22-year-olds in America. So those sort of intangible things are what Coach Mark Lowry saw early on in Chapa Herrera that really intrigued him about him and wanted to bring him and make him a part of this group.
But what does his family think about that? We had an opportunity to talk to his mother about Luis's run into professional soccer as, once again, Luis Chapa Herrera this is his mom just before Mother's Day as we take a look to see what she had to say.
My son is Luis Herrera Chapa, and he's a midfielder. I'm so proud of him. He's gone through a lot. So seeing him here makes me real proud. Before he played, I was like, I know you got this. And after that, I've always been proud of him. What makes me more happy is that he's happy. That finally he's here. For me, he's the best player and I'm his number one fan. That he's very grateful that he has a mom like me, that I've always been there for him.
Those are the thoughts of Luis Chapa Herrera's mom. And there you see, 14 appearances, 6 starts. That includes this evening, 89% passing accuracy. A defensive midfielder. He has really gotten people, I think, to notice that there are these kinds of talents in El Paso. There are a lot of young guys and a lot of young ladies who play the game here who never get the opportunity to go to school. And we talked about, being 22 and coming out of college. That's the way things are for a lot of soccer players because you go to college. That's how you get your professional career started. There are so many young men and young women in El Paso, Texas who never get the opportunity. Incredible that Luis Chapa Herrera, in his first season as a professional, has been able to make his way into the starting lineup for this team, Michael.
It's all part of the growth of the game in the U.S. It's part of the growth of the game here in El Paso to be able to have a professional organization here in El Paso, to be able to tell young players all across the city, if you want it, if you put in the work, and if you have the quality, this could be something that you can achieve. This is a goal that you can achieve here in your hometown.
It's great to have Locomotive a part of that. The reality in El Paso, Texas. 2-1 here at halftime. My understanding is we may be about 5 or 10 minutes away from resumption of the second half. Let's take a break. Back with more after this. Welcome back, everybody. Southwest University Park is the place. We are in weather delay. San Antonio FC with a 2-1 lead over Locomotive FC. Duke Keith and Michael Balogun with you. We are apparently a couple of minutes away from having the players back out onto the field, as I think most of the storm that was here had been moving off to the south and has broken up quite a bit. We have seen some scattered lightning strikes around the area, but that's further than the distance you need, as the players are now making their way back onto the field for San Antonio FC and Locomotive FC. And that's drawing the applause of some of the fans. But Michael, talk from a player's perspective of how hard it is during a weather delay to be in a locker room and then come back and start. You know, you see the clock right there in the 50th minute, 49:02, and you've got to get right back into things.
Yeah, I think what's interesting and different about this weather delay is the fact that it happened 4 minutes into the second half. So it's almost like an extended halftime. So it doesn't really affect the play. It shouldn't affect the players all too much, because you didn't really get into the rhythm, didn't really get going in the second half. You only played 4 minutes. However, that being said, you were essentially in the locker room 15 minutes at halftime, plus an additional 30 to 45 minutes because of the weather delay. So that's a little difficult. How do you keep yourself loose in the locker room? Some players are just going to sit there and think about the game. Some players are going to walk around a little bit because they're a little anxious. They want to get back on the field. So it's just it's different for each player, and different to see how they handle such a long break.
Well, we will resume things just into the 50th minute. Locomotive FC trailing, trying to get back to level terms for the second time in this match. The early goal in the 8th minute from Frank Lopez on loan from Galaxy 2. On loan from Galaxy 2, their leading goal scorer coming to San Antonio. They announced that a couple of days ago. 6 goals in the season for Galaxy 2. For Los Dos, he has 2 goals. He's got a brace tonight in the 8th, and then again in stoppage time, 45 minutes plus after Andrew Fox's leveler in the 28th minute for Locomotive FC. And there you see the man. 10 caps for the Cuban national team. And Darren Powell has got to think he's the most fortunate coach in the United Soccer League Championship right now.
Oh, absolutely. To be able to pick up a player like Frank Lopez and be able to rest your older players in Ever Guzman, he's got to feel very fortunate, and he's got to be really excited about how well Frank Lopez has come into this group and how he's contributing in this game.
And you talk about that. You talk about Jack Barmby, also, I believe, picked up a knock as well. So both of these teams dealing with injuries to key offensive talents. Certainly in Jerome Kiesewetter for Locomotive FC, Jack Barmby for San Antonio FC. But, boy, Frank Lopez has provided immediate dividends for this San Antonio FC squad. And what makes it more interesting is you talked about this. It's Galaxy 2, which does exist as a very, very good system for some of the younger players in the Galaxy Academy. That is their head coach, the guy who came through the academy. They are a very, very good team about developing players and have been for a while. To loan out your leading scorer to a Western Conference rival is an interesting move.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm not sure what those conversations were like. I'm not sure if it was Frank Lopez looking for other opportunities or wanting to see what's out there besides in Galaxy 2. So there could be a lot of scenarios. There could be a lot of reason why Galaxy 2 loaned out their leading scorer to a conference contender in San Antonio.
San Antonio 2-1 with the lead. And you look at the Copa Tejas standings, that's led by Austin Bold right now. In their 3 matches, 2-0-1, 7 points. That's 2 wins, no losses, and 1 tie. RGV FC Toros, 1 win and 1 tie. That's 4 points. They've played only the 2 matches. San Antonio FC, they've played 3, as has Locomotive, coming into tonight. 1 win, 2 losses, and no ties in 3 points in Copa Tejas. Locomotive FC, they've tied all of the Copa Tejas matches they've played against Austin Bold, RGV Toros, and San Antonio FC for 3 points. Let's go to break, and when we come back, the resumption of the second half here from Southwest University Park. 2-1 to San Antonio. Back with more after this. Welcome back to Southwest University Park. Just about to come out of weather delay after lightning strikes delayed the second half. Things have broken up nicely. We'll see if Locomotive FC can break up San Antonio's swing right now. 2-1. How did we get here? Let's take a look. It's been the number 9 show. Number 9 is in Frank Lopez. The shot by Christian Parano, but the follow by Lopez on loan from Galaxy 2, as we've talked about. That was in the 8th minute. Young man was off on a tear early. The Cuban international, Seba Contreras, we thought had gotten things level, possibly deflected by Salgado. They called it offside, but James Kiffey on the restart. Contreras puts it off the backside of Derek Gebhardt. Andy Fox was right in the middle of the area to put it in to even things off of the corner from Kiffey. But Locomotive FC, still opportunities. Good ball by Rebellon. Partida spraying that one wide. And then from the left wing side, lofting it between the defense and Frank Lopez there to put it home. The home run ball finds the home run hitter. Frank Lopez in stoppage time in the 45th minute plus to give San Antonio FC a 2-1 lead in this Copa Tejas match between these two teams, between the 4 sides in the USL Championship in the Lone Star State. Michael Balogun, who do you expect is going to have to do some stepping up here for Locomotive FC in the second half to at least level the game?
I think it's going to have to come from the attackers for the Locomotive, the Derek Gebhardt, the Omar Salgado, the Sebastian Contreras. We're going to have to see them get into the box for crosses. We talked about it in that first half. It was always just Omar Salgado in the box when the ball was out wide, looking for service. He's got to get more bodies in the box, looking to pounce on those service from out wide.
We talk about Derek Gebhardt being one of those bodies, but it's also the midfielders flashing in. We've seen Chapa Herrera provide some pressure early. Obviously, you would want somebody like Contreras, who thought he had his 3rd goal of the season in the early going as well, to be one of those follow runs, that second runner in the box, just to give somebody some options. Salgado, you can't do it by yourself, can you?
Yeah, absolutely. And Omar Salgado doing a great job of getting inside the box. However, when he's the only one, then now the San Antonio defense can concentrate and focus their attention on him. When there's multiple runners, now there's that extra bit of space, that extra bit of room for players to sneak in and get on the end of the crosses.
Certainly, and San Antonio FC, for its part, has got to feel happy, Darren Powell, because they can sit back a little more and absorb the pressure. They've certainly shown they can hit the long ball on the break, and that's the way they've scored really both of their goals. It's not exactly straight up in the run of play. It's not, route one lofting it all the way from the back line. But as you've said, you get to those positions in midfield, and we saw Parano making that run on the first goal to get himself open for a shot up right wing. Just kept on going. That wasn't a long ball, but that was kind of against the run of play, and Lopez follows. The other one from the left-hand side, Lopez, right place, right time. That was a long ball, and it was a perfect pass.
Yeah, I don't anticipate San Antonio is going to just sit back and try to win this game and see out this 2-1 win. They're not built for that. They've got the likes of Billy Ford, who's not a player that wants to just sit back and not get forward, not attack. He's not a defensive-minded player. So when you have him, Frank Lopez, and Christian Parano, those are not players that really want to defend or are defensive-minded. So they're not set up to defend. And I don't see Darren Powell just sitting back and trying to hold off on this lead.
Billy Forbes, the Haitian international, 2 goals, 2 assists coming in for San Antonio. We've seen him be dangerous. The Locomotive has been able to absorb some of the pressure he's provided. San Antonio FC will restart the match from midfield, again resuming in the 50th minute after our lengthy weather delay. Here in El Paso, Texas, Mark Allerton doing what has been advised by the 4th official and the match officials. If there is a lightning strike within a certain radius, you have to stop the match. That's why we were done. And we are back underway. The delay was 47 minutes long, so there was probably one more strike, at least one more, as that big storm cell moved from north to south, out mainly to the west of us. But back underway in Locomotive FC. Lots of opportunity to talk it over, a very experienced lineup. What changes has Mark Lowry instituted? One thing that won't change is the ball possession. Locomotive FC knocking it around the back, trying to find a way forward, and here's Rebellon. Initial foray into the box. Salgado, a bit of a heavy touch and taken away by Packard, and he is fouled by Salgado.
And look, automatically looking at the way San Antonio has come out in this to start this game again. It looks like Darren Powell is making me eat my words. It looks like they're going to a 5-back defensively, just trying to have a little bit more cover and keep this game, keep their lead in this game.
That is knocked out by Ebuse into touch. Playing keep away, as that was a nice pass up the middle to Salgado. Locomotive FC already having to use their first substitution, bringing on Partida as Kiffy draws the contact from Lopez. Nick Ross going off in the 32nd minute. I think he rolled over his right ankle, sliding down to get a ball. Tried to walk it off, but immediately went down after and had to be subbed out of the match. So that narrow bench gets even narrower. Good interception by Billy Forbes to try and restart things to Lopez. Nifty back heel to Jamison. Jamison to the left, and here's Forbes ready to go to work. Gets by Rebellon. Forbes crossing, the shot and the score. In it comes to Bradford Jamison. It's 3-1. Well, we know who came out of the locker room in better shape in the 52nd minute. Bradford Jamison to receive the ball. 3-1 to the visitors.
And that starts from a bad giveaway in the middle of the park, and Bradford Jamison picks up the ball and he drives at that back line, recognizing that Billy Forbes is in a one-on-one situation on the outside. Brian Rebellon has got to do a better job of standing him up, delaying him, and waiting till he gets help, so Billy Forbes is not able to get into the box that easily and get a cross off for their third goal of the game.
Locomotive FC trying to find some traction here out of the break. The goal in the 52nd minute. Basically 3 minutes into the restart of the match, if not just 2.
That hill for the Locomotive to climb to get back in the game has just gotten bigger.
And you've got the guys who are really going to provide some flash and presence offensively on the field for you now. Edson Partida usually brought on around the 65th, 70th minute. He is into the game and has been since minute 32. Rebellon challenged by Forbes, able to see his way out of trouble. Chaperera, long ball, chested down, Gebhardt trying to control. Will rolls one, touched away by Cardone. And it's offside. The flag is up.
Looks like Derek Gebhardt just got a little excited and cheated on that ball over the top, just a couple of steps. Just left a couple of steps too early, a couple of yards too early with his run. It was a great pass. However, it was just offside.
See if we can see a replay on that. Wow. I don't think I agree with the call. I think Ebuse kept him onside. Flag is up, though. Matters not, and it wouldn't have been a goal anyway. Cardone long up the field. Barano trying to control it. Will be a San Antonio throw. Michael Lahoud as San Antonio FC will certainly take its time, nursing a 2-goal lead here in El Paso. Richie Ryan. Taken away from Kiffy. Barano trying his luck. Kiffy's able to boot it out with some help. Salgado looking for some space, trying to send it back, and it's put into touch. Off the foot of Lahoud. To Ryan. Chaperera. Partida. Partida, a couple of goals this season for Locomotive FC. Rebellon. Good move to scoot in on Forbes. Try it again. Herrera on right wing side. Delivers a nice one. Looking for the shot. Tipped over by Cardone. Gebhardt. What a service from Chapa Herrera.
That's a great cross from Chapa Herrera, finding his way out wide to this near side, recognizing that Billy Forbes does not want to defend. Pascal Ibusi is not the strongest defender for San Antonio FC. So when you're able to isolate players on this near right side, they're gonna have good things happen. It's a great cross by Chapa Herrera, a good header from Derek Gebhardt, a great save by San Antonio.
Excellent work. Here's Kiffy on the restart. Locomotive with one goal. This one will not work. Andy Fox, Drew Becky, up and over the crossbar it goes.
Those are the kind of moments, those are the kind of actions that the Locomotive need to get themselves back in this game. It's really important that they get service like that from the likes of Chapa Herrera, from Brian Rebellon on this near side. Esteban Partida, we know how good of a crosser of the ball he is. They're going to need those players to step up in this game and deliver service into the box.
Foul will give San Antonio the restart. Fans follow El Paso Locomotive FC and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, and UFC, plus more. The over 2 million sports fans who've already discovered ESPN Plus, you can be a part of that number. Watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Locomotive FC trying some high pressure. Lofted up. Becky on his horse to stay away from the dangerous feet of Frank Lopez. Foul drawn by Chapa Herrera. And a word of warning for Cristian Parano by Mark Allerton. So he can't run off with the ball as Jack Barmby about to enter the field. It'll be Barmby in for Bradford Jamieson. The goal scorer in the 52nd minute, now off in the 58th.
The luxury of being able to bring on the likes of Jack Barmby into this game. He's arguably their best player, and he's coming off the bench in this game when they're 3-1 up. So it's a moment and a thing of concern for Mark Lowry. However, they have to push past it and look to get a second goal quickly in the second half.
Barmby, the Englishman, nice long ball. Rebellon making moves at the edge of the box. He'll pull it back for Contreras. 24-year-old Englishman, midfielder, has been a stalwart for the San Antonio lineup. Herrera will reset. Becky off to the right, and Rebellon. Trying to pull San Antonio out, moving it side to side. A little further up the field. Giffy and Contreras. Ryan, nicely delivered back to Partida, who's taken down trying to draw the foul, and Allerton having none of it. Fox steps in ahead. Ryan keeping it moving to Rebellon. Well played. Salgado. Earns the throw-in off of Ibusi. You talk about the luxury of bringing on somebody like Jack Barmby, 4 goals this season. Was second on the team. If they count Frank Lopez's, he would be third. Lopez 6 for Galaxy, 2 and 2 tonight in his first match as a member of SAFC. Herrera trying to get some room for himself. Well guarded by Parano. Well done though to Rebellon. Slides one in. Gebhardt trying to get there, but dealing with it is Ebusi, who puts it into touch. Locomotive FC trying to keep the pressure on.
It's a good spell of possession from the Locomotive, really pinning back San Antonio FC into their own defensive half.
Kiffy steps by one, trying to get there in time, but it is pushed out by Lahoud. It will be a corner kick. And it will be Kiffy who delivers it.
They've been very dangerous on their set pieces in this game so far. They've targeted Andrew Fox quite often on that back post. We'll see what they look to do here.
Allerton with words for Gebhardt and Billy Forbes. Lying inside the 6. Here's Kiffy. Far post. Knocked around, touched away by Cardone. That would have been an own goal. I think, let's take a look. Was it Yarrow who got a piece?
It looks like it's Michael Lahoud coming and trying to get ahead onto that cross, trying to clear it out. However,
here's another one. This one stepping into that. It bounces a bit on Partida. And knocked out of trouble by San Antonio FC. But firmly in the San Antonio half of the field. Locomotive FC looking for a breakthrough. Becky having to run down that ball from Fox. Ryan right back to him, the veteran Irishman. Good step by Packard. Forces the ball off to Lopez. And Ryan now forced to defend. Lopez sending it around. Step by Forbes. Through the pressure out to the left wing. They'll send it back looking for Barmby. Lopez first times and sends it over.
a little careless play there by the Locomotive and playing it to Richie Ryan, who's under pressure in the midfield. You've got to be careful with the pace of San Antonio and how quickly they can break.
Salgado. Nifty cross, and it's off the top of the net. Oh, he had Cardone beat, but I think it was a cross. He was just looking for Gebhardt making a run at far post.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely was a cross towards the back post. He mishit it, and he almost caught Matt Cardone off guard with it, with that cross.
Oh, coming at you. Great angle from the goalpost camp. Short by Cardone on the restart. Trying to play out from the back. Lofted up. Dealt with well by Fox. Not about to let Lopez out of his sights. Ryan. Salgado. Making some steps on Lahoud. Salgado again to the far post and over. Chapa making the run out of the back this time.
It's great to see Omar Salgado get involved in this game. However, I don't think he's the one you want to see serving the balls from those positions. You want to see Omar Salgado in the box getting onto the end of those crosses.
Cardone to the restart. Here's Partida from Kiffy. That young man's got some pace. Whips in a pretty good ball. Gebhardt trying to turn. Got his way wide by Abusi, but taken away by Yarrow. And now up the way. Forbes trying to get there in time. Good save by Ketterer. Forbes trying to get back onto it. Will. Ketterer off his line to stop, but here's Barmby. Actually, Parano. Parano lifts one in and off the side of his foot, trying to make a little, Trying to slip one by Logan Ketterer, it didn't work. How about Chapa Herrera? Earns a throw in for Locomotive FC. And Mark Allerton saying no more for Wellington Packard. One more and it's a caution for persistent infringement. Fox and Drew Becky. With a little under half an hour to go. A little too far ahead for Partida from Kiffy, who apologizes by way of wave. Work now by Kiffy. Salgado. Contreras to Richie Ryan. Salgado receives that one. Seba Contreras to the far post. Forbes keeping it away from Brian Rebellon.
That ball to the back post is on a lot earlier than the Locomotive are realizing. And Billy Forbes does not want to track back, does not want to defend Brian Rebellon when he gets going forward. They have to take advantage of that and play him early.
Lofted long ball and rolled into touch. Good effort in the back by Becky, keeping it away from Parano.
The difficult part that the Locomotive are finding is they're pushing numbers forward. They're trying to get that second goal. However,
Mark Allerton telling San Antonio FC to get along and get this game back and going again. In touch for El Paso. Busi has it rolled off of him. Contreras, Rebellon. (3-1) to the visitors here in minute 68. Partida. Kiffy makes the better of rolling one forward, goes back to Ryan. Now to Partida. Rebellon lofting it over. Gebhardt there, but it was off target and put into touch by Kai Green. Clock keeps ticking. Quick throw in. Rebellon. Salgado trying to turn. Contreras there. Ryan back onside. Herrera. Shot blasted away. In defense, Joshua Yarrow. Dangerous pass from Becky to Fox. Frank Lopez there as we take a look at Chapa Herrera from the right. Unhappy. You probably wanted to pull the trigger a little bit sooner. Rebellon knocks it loose for Ryan. Partida trying to control and all over him to take it away. Restrepo out to the left. Armby in the box. Out at shot. Saved by Ketterer. Great work to get it to Forbes, but he put it square on the Locomotive FC keeper. Contreras getting by his man. And Busi. Contreras all the way up top. Rolls one straight into the waiting grasp of Cardone. He wanted that just a little bit edge to the left for a waiting Derek Gebhardt.
And you see Derek Gebhardt pull away from the back line, looking for that pocket, looking to create that pocket to get the ball and get to goal. It wasn't on. Sebastian Contreras took a little long to play it. Then he looked to check inside. The passes to Derek Gebhardt on the second attempt was a little long, and Sebastian Contreras has to look to deliver that pass a little sooner to Derek Gebhardt or look to have a shot himself on goal.
Ebusi. Yarrow. Spray it wide to the right, and here's Barmby. Foul is whistled as Barmby takes out Kiffey. Locomotive FC will have the restart. But again, just a little more than 20 minutes plus stoppage time to try and pry the door open on that goal. Cardona's done a solid job. All the way, and it does again. Fox making the run from the right up to the far post, and Cardone off his line to fist it wide. Rebellon. Well done by Parano to win the ball back for San Antonio. Barmby, a little give and go with Restrepo. The back heel will find Barmby. Good ball for Restrepo. Drops it. A little too far back for Barmby. San Antonio, though, keeping the ball. Parano. Barmby over an outstretched leg to Packard. And Ebusi. Parano again. Hard to handle for Chop Herrera. Tries to bring him in close. Delivers the nice easy ball to Forbes. Out to Lahoud. San Antonio FC will retreat. Yarrow to Kai Green. And now to Barmby again. Good spell of possession for San Antonio FC. They can take all the air out of this game they want.
You see their space and they're open. They're stretching the field, going side to side. Got the central midfielders moving off the ball.
Ebusi. Lahoud ahead to Parano. Parano with a good lane. Rolls one. Lopez. The shot saved by Ketterer. Logan Ketterer has been a lot busier than he's wanted to be tonight. Contreras trying to make some moves. Long and left looking for Salgado. Well done by Lahoud. Contreras trying to draw the foul. It won't matter. Partida with it. Good job by Partida to advance. They'll cross. Herrera to the right and Rebellon. Contreras to Kiffey. Kiffey dangerous, rolls back the one time, the first time blast wide by Partida. Let's take a look at the save from Logan Ketterer on Frank Lopez. It's a hard angle to solve, and Ketterer knows all the angles around net, doesn't he?
Yeah, and there's no surprise that Frank Lopez looked to shoot on goal in that moment. It was a tight angle. However, he's on a hat trick, so any opportunity he gets, he's going to look to shoot and get that third goal.
Locomotive FC forced the turnover. Chop Herrera from Richie Ryan back to Rebellon. Trying to search their way and find a way in. San Antonio happy to pack them in at the back with a 2-goal lead. And the foul will stop the play, and that will bring in Brian Gomez. 3 assists to pace the team today. Here in minute 75 to replace Walter Restrepo. And again, when you can bring in your leading assist man after bringing in one of your leading goal scorers, Darren Powell certainly happy. Whipped in on the restart to the far post. Fox trying to get there, lifted up by Salgado. A foul called, but it's deflected by San Antonio FC for a corner kick. Last touch by Abusi, they say. Kiffy, quick restart, Contreras. Swings one in. Far post, Ryan. Over for the goal kick. Locomotive FC trying to, we've said it before, find traction. Offensively, it has not gone well, really, for the months of June and July, as they're just trying to find that service. Obviously, a little too soon to see Sebastian Velasquez in the lineup, as he was off after completing his season in Korea, and is still looking to get into game shape. My understanding, it is fit in quite seamlessly in practice. You've seen a couple. What are your thoughts in the early going?
Yeah, he's a quality player. He brings a different kind of quality to the group. You know, it definitely helps when you have a fellow Colombian in Brian Rebellon that you can that helps you settle in and get you acclimated to the team and to the area. So he's done well to fit himself into the group. Mark Lowry's done well to fit him into the group and really explain what the style is and what he's looking for from Sebastian Velasquez.
78th minute substitution for El Paso. Moses Makinde will come in to replace Luis Chapa Herrera, who's done some yeoman's work. But looking for some fresh legs with a short bench. Moses Makinde coming on here in minute 78.
I'd anticipate that they're going to go to a back three with Moses Makinde. Moses Makinde, Drew Becky, and Andrew Fox.
Cardone keeping that away from Andrew Fox, looking for his brace. The Englishman they call Foxy leveled the game in the 28th minute before the stoppage time. What is showing up now on the score sheet is the game-winning goal by Frank Lopez. Rebellon slides away from trouble, and Billy Forbes. Out for a San Antonio throw. Locomotive FC has gotten close, but as you pointed out, San Antonio, especially now with a 2-goal lead, can clamp the door shut in the back. Well, you see, they do have 3 backs, 3 in the back right now, obviously clogging up the midfield. And nobody other than Lopez forward, because why would you? Fox tries one, and there where Abusi at about 6'4".
And that's a great look from Andrew Fox. That ball into the player on this far right side is on quite often. They just have to get their head up and look for it. Billy Forbes again is not dropping back and getting goal side to that player. Abusi is tucked in, worried about Derek Gebhardt and Omar Salgado. So there's plenty of space on this near right side. If the ball gets switched quickly, they'll be able to get opportunities to get to goal.
Some pressure. Se va Contreras. Kiffy moving over to the right with Makinde on the left. Becky will restart it. Partida. Making some moves to get by. That's what he's there to do. But what Kai Green is there to do is stay in front of his man, and does. Fox tees one up. Gebhardt nods one just wide. Onside, but Gebhardt cannot steer it on frame.
He's done very well to play off of the shoulder of the center backs. In this moment, he plays off the shoulder of Kai Green and gets ahead onto that ball, but not able to redirect it onto the frame of goal.
Cardone almost puts one into touch. Indeed, that's exactly what he does. And here's McKinney. Moses McKinney, traded for Calvin Resend a couple of weeks ago. Trains with Locomotive FC right back to the state of Oklahoma, where he did get into the match. 0-0 draw with OKC Energy, or 1-1 I should say. Let's not take Chapa's goal away from him, even though it was listed officially as an own goal. Talked about that quick whistle. Gallatin stops things. With just minutes to spare, can Locomotive FC break through and get one to bring them within one? Kiffy, Rebellon. Nice thought to Contreras, a little bit between his feet. Cleared out by Packard. And here's Ibusi. Long switch by Rebellon. Partida has to come back for it. They'll leave off for McKinney. Ryan. Salgado. Contreras a little loose of him, and now to Lopez. Out to Billy Forbes. Haitian double teamed by Contreras and Kiffy. Kiffy leans into that challenge, and it'll be a San Antonio throw-in. Eighth Notch doesn't like it. Happening pretty close. Kiffy again leaves a foot in. How about Contreras winning that ball? It would be whistled for the foul. And that definitely draws the boos. Wellington Packard.
And Wellington Packard recognizing that there's only 7+ minutes left in this game, so he's going to take his time. Not much contact on that play. However, he recognizes what position his team is in. They're in a position to get their first road win on the year, so he's going to milk as much time on the clock as possible.
You saw Richie Ryan all over the referee Mark Allerton and saying, you know what's going on here. But indeed, Packard's going to make the trainer Adam quickly run all the way across the field. I'm sure equipment trainers love that. But all in service of the team is a good opportunity for a water break as well. Second hydration break was canceled. Temperatures temperate enough, especially with the weather delay, to negate that, and we are back and underway. Cardone. Rebellon turning it to Ryan. Fox thinks the better of going left will go right to Rebellon. But just minutes left. There'll be a little bit of stoppage time here, I would assume, after the injury, but not a whole lot. Contreras trying to spray one wide to the left, but Gomez is there for it. Ryan tries to leave one for Partida. Doesn't quite work out. Chipped over. Here's Barmby. McKinney trying to stay with him. Barmby and Gomez roll into touch for El Paso. Tune into ESPN 3, July 24th, a special afternoon edition of Wednesday Night Soccer. Surging Reno 1868 FC storms into Orange County to meet an Orange County SC side looking to climb closer to that playoff spot. See it all July 24th. It's a week from tonight on ESPN 3. Gebhardt too far ahead for Salgado. Certainly when you're pressing and your legs don't respond, the passing doesn't quite go where you want it to. This gets harder and harder when you're going uphill as Forbes is knocked over by Contreras. And he'll milk things for all it's worth.
And you see the frustration of the Locomotive players, feeling that Omar Salgado was fouled initially, but nothing was called. And then Sebastian Contreras comes in, doesn't really make a lot of contact with Billy Forbes. However, referee Mark Hallaton feeling that there was enough there to call a foul.
Omar Salgado pleading his case for the earlier contact. And Cardone says, not that blade of grass, but this one. Locomotive FC, an uphill battle. San Antonio FC looking to climb into second place in the Copa Tejas standings as well. Their last game was a 3-0 win over Austin Bold FC, as another San Antonio FC player is down, way behind the play, and
looks like it's Jack Barmby. This has got to be concerning for Darren Powell, knowing that he came into this game with a bit of a knock, and now you see him down after just being on the field for a few minutes.
Barmby being tended to by trainer Adam Quigley. Certainly concerning for San Antonio FC. Of course, Barmby red carded in that match versus El Paso for faking an injury, interestingly, or faking a foul anyway. Simulation. It was his second yellow. And he was suspended for the next match. Doesn't look the worse for wear as he exits the field. Into the 89th minute now. Long ball out of the back, too long. Brian Gomez looking for it. Ketterer looking for a quick restart here. Going up to Kiffey. Has to do some sidestepping to get by Billy Forbes. Kiffey. Becky. Fox. Desperate times here for Locomotive FC. The last win coming Saturday, June 15th. On the road at Roughnecks FC, a 2-0 win. Over a month without a victory. Looking for something here, and that is going to be a handball. Nope. Yeah, it is. It's a handball right on the edge of the box. The handball by Lahoud as it was whipped in by Partida. And here will be Contreras. We will have 4 minutes of stoppage time. A night that's gone on a little longer than most of us thought at the start. And certainly for Locomotive FC. Wanting to make something happen. But 2 minutes after we restarted in the 50th with our weather delay. San Antonio scores its third. Here's Contreras. Back post, the whip around Partida on his bike. But again, up and over the net.
It's a good ball from Sebastian Contreras. Tim Partida going for the Sports Center type shot. Connects, makes good contact with it, just not on frame.
That has kind of been the story of his night. Just a bit outside. Throw in coming for El Paso. But we are into 4 minutes of stoppage time. Makinde. And Fox. Ryan. Fox having to deal with Brian Gomez. Gomez there to force him back. Long ball out of the back. Salgado trying to get there. Knocks over his man, and it's going to be a foul committed by Omar Salgado. And receives a caution for it here in stoppage time. Joshua Yarrow takes the abuse of that. Certainly Salgado frustrated on the evening as Locomotive FC, it appears, we'll have to wait until the weekend to make this work.
Obviously a disappointing game for the Locomotive. However, the positive, it's a quick turnaround, and they've got another game to get ready for on Saturday. They've gone winless in the last 5 games, so it's an opportunity for them to right the ship and get back to their winning ways.
Brian Gomez, what stands right now as the match-winning goal. And here is Lopez on the ball for Gomez, the back heel. On a run, here's Becky. Ryan. Salgado. Makinde coming forward. To Contreras, and San Antonio just providing no ways in. Tell Locomotive FC really want to come in from that left. Here's Partida. He'll cut it inside. Salgado picks things up and back to Makinde. But still a lot of side to side. Credit San Antonio FC. They don't, or are not letting Locomotive FC find any openings. Rebellon, nice one time into Gebhardt, can't turn to first time in it himself. But well done by Rebellon.
It's well done to get up this near right side and deliver a good cross into Derek Gebhardt. Just took a bounce right before it got to Derek Gebhardt, not giving him a chance to get a shot on goal.
Becky will steer this one all the way back to Ketterer. Andrew Fox up the middle to Seba Contreras. Partida ready to whip one in. Does so low, the drive, and high and off the foot of Contreras over the back line. And that is it. 3-1 is your final score. Frank Lopez, certainly your man of the match with a brace tonight, including the match winner in stoppage time of the first half. And after a weather delay, one more added on. San Antonio FC, 6 points in Copa Tecas to move right behind Austin Bold. The final score this evening, Locomotive FC 1, San Antonio FC 3, as we take a look at the goal. quick as you please, just 2 minutes into the second half, and they let Billy Forbes have some fun up that left wing. Cardone, for his part, really key as Gebhardt with the biggest one. Let's take a break. Back to wrap things up after this.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.
Welcome back to Southwest University Park. Your final score this evening, San Antonio FC, a 3-1 winner over El Paso Locomotive FC. Duke Keith, Michael Balogun ready to wrap things up as we take a look at some of the highlights. And after that weather delay, how about Billy Forbes going to work? Gets by Brian Rebellon, easily over to Jameson. One touch and in. Logan Ketterer looking for the offside call. That was not offside. That was the third of the match. But Chaparrera serving a beautiful ball to Derek Gebhardt. Cardone back against his body. What a great save by the San Antonio keeper. Certainly one of the men of the match here, as well as Frank Lopez. But it was Lopez's 2 first-half goals. The difference in this one, Michael, is Locomotive FC. It's been since June 15th, still looking for that first win in over a month.
Yeah, obviously with some of the key injuries, it's been a difficult time for the Locomotive. However, they have to quickly turn around and get ready for Saturday's game. That's all Coach Mark Lowry is going to be preaching in the locker room. It's not going to be dwelling on this game. It's getting ready to move on.
Real Monarchs, 7 p.m. Saturday night. We certainly hope we see you there. Your final score again this evening, San Antonio FC 3, Locomotive FC 1. For Michael Balogun and our crew, I'm Duke Keith. So long from El Paso.